Bryan Ray, America's Rugby News, Major League Rugby 2023 preview. The Dallas Jackals. Well, after their false start in 2021, the Jackals finally got on the pitch last season in this lovely new stadium, Choctaw Stadium in Arlington, but things again didn't go as planned. They lost their intended coach before the season to visa problems. Elaine Vassy, the general manager, ended up doing double duty. They lost a couple other players who they were supposed to arrive that didn't. A horde of injuries. An off-field accident knocked out a bunch of players about halfway through for the rest of the season. So it was just not a great year. The second winless campaign in Major League Rugby history. Austin, of course, the first in 2019. So time to wipe the slate clean, so to speak. New coach, new management. Agustin Cavalieri is the new head coach. He's come over from Italy. This is the first head coach role for him. He was an assistant. He was a forwards coach with the Italian under-20 side. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Very experienced professional player. Originally from Argentina, and you will see once we get to our 2023 roster a very heavy Argentine influence. Of course, the coaches as well. They've got Mario Ledesma, the Pumas Supremo, former Pumas coach, is helping out with the forwards right now. He's been very involved, which is good to see. And also Willy Blanco coming over to run the backs. So that's the new coaching staff. Here was their roster, or at least a good chunk of it from last season. I didn't put everybody on there because there was just too many. They went through more players than any other team because of all the injuries. They had guys playing, 2 games at the end of the season. They had 2 coaches, Motoko Nudejo, their strength and conditioning coach, who's back. He played a couple games, and actually he did pretty well, to be fair. And Danny Carlton, who was I think he was analyst or something with the side last year. Elaine Vassy's husband, no less. He actually suited up and subbed in for a couple minutes against Toronto. Anyways, this is the 2022 roster. We're just going to start peeling names off everybody who is no longer back this year. We're going to end up with not very many names. Ryan Bauer, the English prop, gone. I think he's retired now. Todd Gleave, the hooker, only ended up playing a couple games. He was injured. He has retired. Augusto Bome, the Chilean hooker who they got on loan from Seattle, did well, got suspended. He's now returned to Chile playing for Selknam. Matt Frings, he actually was supposed to be on the extended squad, ended up playing a big part of the season and did pretty well, to be fair. Also played a little bit of flanker. He's now retired. Timmy Olwain, loosehead prop, has gone to Chicago. Raheem Powell was supposed to be a prop, ended up playing a lot of hooker. He is not back. Tommy Madaris, tight head prop, has gone back to football, the XFL. Interesting move. Bronson Tellez did a good job at second row, optimally more of a blindside flanker. He's decided he wants to make some money, got a real job. Campbell Robinson, second row, also played a little bit of flanker, released. He was with... trying to remember who he's with, training with somebody in the off-season. It escapes me, free agent at the moment. Sean Clark, second row, supposed to be second row. He ended up playing flanker, ended up playing wing. He's now gone to the American Raptors, playing lock again. Jeremy Lennertz captained them in a couple games, as I recall. Very good lock, used to play for Seattle. Not back this year. I think he's retired. Not sure what's going on with him. Sean Phillips, another one who came over from the Raptors initially, not back this year, not sure where he's gone. Mike Matarazzo, my pick for maybe their player of the season. He was outstanding for them last year, really a breakthrough year, gone to Chicago Hounds. Romain Gadot, local guy who was supposed to be in the extended squad, played a fair bit anyways, not back. Jack Paluchek, they got him in a trade from the Free Jacks, not back. Matthew Gashielder, another one who played a couple games towards the end of the season. Mighty Mo Abdelmonem, the Egyptian-Canadian open side, got injured, missed a big chunk of the season after captaining him a couple games. I think he's now retired. Asa Carter, I don't know what is going on there. I thought he was pretty good for them. They got him in a trade from Austin. Released for some reason, a free agent. Really somebody, he was with the Rugby HTX, the Houston's academy side for a bit. Really somebody who should be in MLR. Calvin Gentry got concussed, only played a couple games, not back this year. Scrum halves, Carlo Denison has gone to Houston. He's out of there. Tom Brasati, I don't know what he's doing now. Not there anymore. Dylan James, released. Don't know where he is. Curtis Werner, released. Not sure where he is. Fly halves, amazingly, both of these guys, Adrian Carlsa and Alejandro Torres, still around. Chad London, assuming he has retired and gone back to his chiropractic practice. Ned Hodgson, pretty handy utility back, US eligible, not back. He'd be a good signing if he's out there and available. Henry Trinder got injured, English center, has gone back to England, retired, I'm assuming, at this point. Louis Sitama came in and did a decent job. They picked up him from Rugby ATL along with Jalen Tatum, but Sitama not back. He's a guy who really should be in MLR somewhere. Varamu Diki Ladi played, I think it was with White Plains in the American Rugby Premiership, so still around somewhere, but not in MLR. Cale Hodgson traded to the NOLA Gold. Chris Pennell, their captain last season. You know, unfortunately, it looks like he's now retired. Did a heck of a job last year under terrible circumstances. Eric Naposki is still around. Roderick Waters also came in, did a decent job on the wing. He's now playing club rugby. So is Kelly Kohlberg on the tail end of his career. Nice to see him get in some games with his hometown MLR team last year, though. So there we go. A lot of white space here. So we've got a lot of players to come in and talk about that are on the way in. So let's get to that now. That's our 2022 slate cleaned. Now looking ahead to 2023. All right, Jackals 2023. Let's see if we can fill in these blanks. Now, keep in mind, Dallas hasn't actually told us what their entire roster is. It's been a bit of a struggle working with them in the communications front, but we'll leave it at that. We have worked out the bulk of the squad at this point, so let's go with what we know. New Argentines, a whole bunch of them coming in. So Joaquin Horcada played with Argentina U20s. He was originally a hooker. He's now switched to loose head prop. Still a young guy, but we'll throw him in there. Liam Murray, the Canadian international, returning. And we're going to move Alex Tucci over to the loose head side. He played tight head last year, but as you'll see in a moment, it looks like he's going to be playing loose head for the most part. He's always been better on the loose head side anyways. The tight head side, Herman Augenbach returning. We're just going to slide him down here because Juan Pablo Zeiss has come in from Houston. He won, I think, 7 caps for Los Pumas. Very good pickup for them. So he is our new 3. We're going to slide Devald Kotza up here at hooker, another Canadian. Connor Robinson, just slide him up slightly. We're going to take Brendan Rams and move him into hooker. That's where he played mostly last year anyways. Can also play tight head prop, but he's back. Connor Robinson up back as well. Tomas Baravale, I think he's got 1 cap for Las Pumas. Was playing professionally in Italy last year. He has come over. He's going to be the hooker. And another tight head prop coming in is a new Canadian international, Kyle Steeves. He was playing with the Pacific Pride. He's now been signed. Second row, first overall pick in the draft, Sam Gala out of Cal Berkeley. Thought he would be more like a blindside flanker, but it looks like he's going to be playing at second row for Dallas to start with. Charlie Hola returning. He was picked up early last season in a trade from NOLA Gold, previously with Utah Warriors, USA U20 Select. Lucas Boer, this very promising young Argentine lock. He's not the biggest lock, but he's kind of a Guido Petty kind of very rangy, athletic guy, going to be good in the line out. He was playing in Italy last season. They've picked him up as the Argentina U20 cap, trained with the Pumas, but no test caps yet. And our other second row, normally you'd put him over here, but we've got a lot of guys. So Big Mike, Naro Maitonga, also known as Mikele Mudu. He played with Houston 1 game last year. I think he was sent off, actually. And previously played with Austin and Utah. The back row, we've got Conrad Aurora back. We've got Adrian Buisen back. We've got Carson Shoemaker, who was on loan from Utah last year. Now he's a permanent addition, but we're going to slide him over here because we're a little bit short in the back row. You're going to find out pretty soon. Jalen Tatum interesting fella. Signed, he was a lacrosse player, signed by ATL, originally played at flanker, then they moved him to wing. He played at wing for Dallas just in one game last year, and then he got injured. He's now gone back to flanker, 6'4" so he's certainly got the size for it anyways. And their other flanker is going to be Geronimo Gomez Vara. He's captain Argentina's U20 team, already played for the Argentina 15. Huge potential, possibly a future Puma right there. Good signing. He's going to be a starting flanker for sure. And the other flanker is going to be Nolan Buckley, who played kind of more number 8 for UMass Lowell, but probably going to be a flanker with Dallas for the time being, picked up in the collegiate draft. All new scrum halves. Pedro Imhoff, the younger brother of Juan Imhoff, the famous Pumas winger. Pedro himself won a couple caps, I think 1 or 2 back in the day, and turned down options or offers to go overseas, and always stayed playing amateur rugby in Argentina. So this is his first overseas experience. He'll be a very handy pickup. Also coming in the second, or the scrum half option, Nazareno Valentini, played for Old Ressians in Argentina, also plays fly half, but he's going to be primarily a scrum half with this team. And Danny Christensen coming in from the Utah Warriors, veteran scrum half. Now, Devereaux Ferris was acquired in a trade from the NOLA Gold for Cale Hodgson. However, Ferris has not signed with the team. He's actually back in New Zealand right now, so that's interesting. So these are the 3 scrum halves that I know of at the moment. Adrian Carlsell's back. Could also play fullback. Alejandro Torres can play center, can play fullback as well. Good left foot on him. He's back. And they've got another new Argentine fly half, Matias Caramuti, also considered an import, not U.S. eligible yet. He played for Thomas More, so he was picked up in the collegiate draft. Midfield, JP Aguirre, we're just going to slide him up there. He has returned, only played a couple games last season. Hopefully we'll get through a whole season this year. Tomas Malanos has come over, can play center or wing. We're going to throw him in the centers. He played with the Aguares, also played for the Argentina 15. Pretty handy pickup there. Patrick Medina, nice addition. He played with the USA Falcons in the past season, spent some time over in the championship in England. I think it was with Hartpury, if I remember correctly. So Patrick Medina slots in there, Texan guy, so nice to have him there. Campbell Johnston, very useful, versatile player, can play center, can play wing, can play fullbacks, also played a little bit of fly half, but we're going to throw him there in the centers. Kyle Fulton picked up in the collegiate draft. Another winger, James Vaifale, was with Utah last year, got traded to NOLA, played with the Gold Academy in the offseason, now in Dallas. So that's where he has landed. Eric Naposki has returned here. Marcos Maroni, another Argentine pickup, can play wing or fullback. I guess we'll throw him here at fullback for now. We'll throw him on the wing over here. Let's do this. We'll move Kyle Fulton over the wing. We'll slide him down and we'll put Maroney on the wing, but he plays wing or fullback. Martin Elias coming in, interesting. He played mostly fly half, well, all fly half pretty much with the Argentina 15, but last year with his club side he did play fullback, so he'll play 10 or 15. You've got Carlso the same, 10-15, so you could switch the two, take your pick. Hayden Hill returning at fullback. Jason Tidwell, a new young lad out of Texas A&M, a local. I think he's from Fort Worth, can play fly half, can play center, can play fullback. We'll throw him in there. And the last name we've got here, Masvita Nyamarevu, a Zimbabwe age grade player, also picked up in the collegiate draft, played a bit of fly half for his college side, but he projects more as a center. Now, one name we don't have on here is Ethan Hager, this Canadian wing or fullback out of the University of Victoria. He was quite a high pick, a surprise choice. I think he went 8th overall in the first round. I have not seen any pictures of him in training with them. They haven't said anything about him. So at this point, I'm not putting him on the roster. Hopefully there's a couple other names that can come in. As we can see, it's very thin in the back row. Could probably use another lock as well. And as we get into our match day 23 2023 selections. We'll see how, you know, there's going to be some difficult choices as far as who they can actually fit in their lineup. So let's do that next. There is what we have at the moment for the Dallas Jackals lineup roster for 2023. Next up, our match day 23 selections. Okay, Dallas Jackals, let's say they make the playoffs, they got a game tomorrow, everybody is fit, who are they going to pick? Well, the first thing we got to know, how many imports are they allowed in the 2023 this year? Their magic number is 11, okay? So, let's see what we can do. We start, obviously, with all these Argentine imports that we've got. Joaquin Horcada, probably your loose head prop. I don't see, well, you know, there could be some options there of all the Argentines, maybe him. Tomas Barnavale, definitely the hooker. JP Zeiss, definitely the tight head prop. Lucas Boer is going to be one lock. Sam Gala is going to be a lock. Our one flanker is going to be Geronimo Gomez Vara. We're going to throw him down here at number 7. Now, we'll get back to the back row. Pedro Imhoff, definitely the scrum half. Let's say Adrian Carlsa is our number 10. In that case, we put Martin Elias at 15. Eric Naposki, star last year, I think runner-up for Rookie of the Year. He's our number 14. JP Aguirre, figure he's going to be a starter, probably at 12 or 13, but we'll put him at 12 for the moment. Marcos Moroni, have to think that he's probably going to start. We'll put him at 11. So there we go to start. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 imports. So we've got 2 left. Who are we going to slot in here? Well, Conrado Rura is a certainty. He might even be the captain this year. They haven't named one yet. So, I mean, he's either going to be at 6 or 8. You'd have to think probably at 8. So that leaves us with 1. I mean, we can start Adrian Buisen at 8. As well, and move Aurora to 6, but that takes away any ability to play an import on the bench or at 13. And I think, so we'll leave Buisen out for the moment because I think Tomas Malanos at 13 maybe makes sense. And then you've got Jalen Tatum on the flank. Now that's pretty inexperienced flanker given that he's only played a couple games ever in MLR and they were on the wing. I think just 1 game, to be honest. So it's a bit of a gamble, but that's what we've got at the moment. Let's go to the bench and then we'll revisit that. So obvious one, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's all our imports. Well, Danny Christensen, we need him to be the backup scrum half. We don't really need a fly half because Elias can step in at 10. So we need a center, so we're going to put Patrick Medina there. Campbell Johnstone, also another option that we can put there. And then for our outside back, our winger, you can go with James Vaifale or Aaron Gray, who played quite a bit and did pretty well last year as well. So we've got a couple wing options there. Now in the back row, we're left with Carson Shoemaker, most likely a USA U20 select. Second row, you're going to go Charlie Hola for sure, because that's who we've got, and he was a starter, to be fair, last year and did well. Hooker is going to be Devalt Kotze. He's going to be our backup to Tomas Barnavale. And then we've got some options at prop. You know, most likely you would have maybe Tucci and Murray can play loose or tight, so they'd be the most experienced ones, but you've also got Kyle Steeves as well, who can come in, this other Canadian, and play at tight head. So you could have Murray up here and Steeves there, something like that. Now the other option, of course, you can take, say, Horcada out, and then you can start Tucci or Murray at number 1. Let's stick Murray there right now, and then you move Steeves in there. That gives us another import slot. You could put Buisen now in at 8 and take Tatum out. But I think maybe what they'll be looking at is taking Malanos out, and then put Horcada back in. And then into the midfield, you can put Johnston or Medina. And now we can I think we can get Buisen in. So we take Tatum out, through him on the bench, put Rura now at 6, and put Adrian Buisen, our Namibian, at number 8. So there's maybe another option. And the other one, of course, we don't have Herman Agenbog, that excellent South African tight head who did so well for them last year. And Liam Murray and Milanos are other guys in the mix over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So maybe that's a possible lineup that we could see. Certainly that's an ideal back row as far as Dallas is concerned. You just don't have a lot of options. So if we're looking at this squad, you kind of wonder if Dallas kind of ignored almost their domestic signings, and they just went all Argentine. I mean, there's some, significant gaps in experience on here, and just sheer numbers. They definitely could use another domestic lock option. They could use another domestic back row option. To have Tatum and Nolan Buckley effectively completely new as back row. And Carson Shoemaker, I mean, he only played 2 games last year. That's 3 loose forward options. All your domestic back rowers have virtually no experience in MLR. Somewhat problematic, I think. I mean, if you look at this lineup, it's not far off, an Argentina 15 almost. If you look at, Elias and Moroni and Imhoff and all these guys have played for some very good teams. But once you get past the starting 15, you start to run into problems. Just not enough experience, I think, is the biggest concern for Dallas fans. So I think this team will win couple games this year, maybe more than a couple. They'll be competitive. Look, they're not going to be an easy out like they were last year, where teams could just throw in their reserve players and think they would breeze through it. They're not that bad. Their starting 15 is quite competitive. They are going to cause problems, but they do have some issues in the line out. Lucas Boer, very good middle jumper. Sam Gawley, you would think probably jumping at 2, but the tallest guy in this forward pack is 6'5". I mean, they've got no big, tall line out guys. That's concerning. They don't have a lot of bulk in them. I mean, Campbell Johnston's not small. He's 6'3"-ish, and 215 pounds or something. But you've got him, and Medina isn't far off him, 6'1", 6'2", in the same kind of 215-ish range. So they're not small, but they don't have any big, powerful. They don't have that Veramu, Dicky Lati available to give them really some punch in the midfield. So I think that's another maybe spot that they're missing. But probably the style that they're going to play anyways is a very Argentine style, which is to throw the ball around the park and try and tire teams out that way. And Imhoff, when he shows up, he hasn't been here in the preseason, but when he arrives, he'll help facilitate that. But I just think that they're too thin. Starting 15, competitive. Aside from that, not enough experience. So for me, this squad is not going to be competing for a playoff spot in the Western Conference. I probably put them at the bottom at this stage, unfortunately. But look, Dallas fans, they are going to be a better team than last year. They will be playing better rugby. There is reason to think, there's more to come in the future. And there's certainly lots of young guys. It'll be really fun to see how Jalen Tatum develops as a flanker. I think he's got good athletic potential. And Eric Naposki is a human highlight reel. So certainly things to look forward to. Better season than last year. Let me know what you think. Dallas Jackals, MLR 2023.